The 2019 draft was really good, introducing many future stars to the NHL stage, although this upcoming 2020 draft contains what I feel to be even more skilled players than the last. Honestly, this is only my top 10 picks, and it was so hard for me to narrow it down to just only 10. Like, if we thought picks 3 to 15 could be anyone in last year's draft, it can be something like 5 to 25 in the 2020 draft. The talent is that incredible. The top 5 to 7 prospects are insane, and even more highly touted players follow behind them. Anyway, so don't be listing players that I missed. It probably broke my heart leaving them out of the video too, so expect tons of prospect reports this upcoming season over the players eligible for the already incredible 2020 draft class. So far, the consensus pick is not too difficult to make up my mind. It's Alexis Lafreniere. Lafreniere is a certain generational talent that we will see dominate hockey for the next decade and a half. The 17-year-old has already put up 2 dominant seasons with the Rimouski Oceanic, and if all goes well, he'll probably have plans to blow those 2 seasons out of the water with his next one. There are many flaws in Lafreniere's game. A sniper, a playmaker, a high-end skater, a deceptive stick handler. The only time I was ever let down by Lafreniere was his World Juniors performance last year, where his effort and motivation looked awful. But I expect that to change for next year's World Juniors. Lafreniere will most likely hold this number 1 position throughout the year unless one of these other prospects wreaks absolute havoc next year. And a guy who definitely has the ability to do this is Quinton Byfield. You don't ever really expect a guy that's 6'4", 215 pounds to be a swift skating stick handler, although Byfield goes against all expectations and is a guy that is unmatched on the playing surface. Byfield is physically unmatched by anyone else his age, and in the OHL last year for the Sudbury Wolves, he snapped off, putting up 61 points in 64 games, including 29 goals. Byfield isn't even 17 yet, having a late August birthday, so putting up these numbers at such a young age is remarkable. I definitely see Byfield being the consensus number 2 pick throughout the year too. He's the type of player that you don't see too often, and can probably be a guy who slides right into an NHL lineup. Usually, after the first 2 picks, we tend to see a slight drop in talent, and the drafting becomes unpredictable. Not in this draft though. The talent and skill keeps oozing for players to come. Lukas Raymond is the next player on this list, an all-around offensive dynamo, tearing the Super Elite to shreds last season. Lots of attention was brought to him after his hat trick in the U18 finals against Russia, and holy cow, that was just a glimpse of what he has to offer. Raymond controls the offensive end of the ice. His vision on the breakout and in the zone is none of the less breathtaking. Raymond's passing may be the best in this draft, as he tends to find his teammates effortlessly. Put him alongside a sniper, and you will see otherworldly production. And speaking of snipers, Alexander Holtz, his international teammate, may be the best shooter in this draft. Holtz showcases one of the deadliest shots I've seen in recent seasons, carrying an incredible wrist shot and an equally good slapper. Holtz can load up anywhere on the ice, but he likes to make things easier by stick handling into the slot and letting go his howitzer of his shot. Holtz is a nightmare for opposing goalies, as he put up 30 goals in 38 games last season in the Super Elite. Holtz can pass too, but I'd much rather see him being the guy taking the shots rather than creating them. Something I just want to quickly add too, they could, Raymond and Holtz can be interchangeable picks, depending on what kind of player the team needs. If you want the playmaker or do you want the sniper, these guys can go 3rd or 4th, even maybe 2nd, depending on how good they do next year. You knew this was coming if you saw my Marco Rossi video already. And yes, he has plenty of competition for a top 5 selection, but it's a feat I think he can definitely achieve. Unlike any other of these prospects, I feel Rossi has the best 2-way game out of any of them. Dominant on the face-off circle and great at cutting off lanes, Rossi is also incredibly agile and creates tons of opportunities for his teammates, making clean, crisp passes. Rossi's IQ on where to be on the ice also grabs a lot of my attention. I can see Rossi being a definite fit into the NHL into the near future. He doesn't have as much raw offensive talent as some of these other guys do, but in the all-around aspect of the game, he beats every single one of these guys. This is the first defenseman I've talked about so far, Justin Barron of the historical Halifax Mooseheads, who always seem to be putting prospects into the system all the time. Barron is a slick skater that can easily break the puck out of his own zone if he really wanted to. A decent offensive mind too. Barron has a good point shot that results in a ton of rebounds and scoring chances for his teammates, working hard in the crease. Being a right-handed D-man too, those are always a hot commodity to have on every NHL team. A very smart defenseman who could find himself going high in the 2020 draft if all goes well for him next season. He will have to put up a bit more production, I feel, if he wants to be a top 10 pick, but he can definitely slide at a top 15 easily. This one was tough for me to put down low at number 7, just because I love my Finnish players, but Anton Lundell, much like Rossi, possesses one of the most complete play styles in the draft. I personally love Lundell's style of play, and I loved his showcase at the World Juniors last year. Lundell is always in the right spot, that either being in the open spots for the breakout, or right in the slot for a quick shot. Lundell doesn't carry a lethal shot like some of the other prospects like Holt or Raymond, but his stick handling is definitely top 3 or 4. He plays a great two-way game, and I believe if he adds more muscle, he can be more of a threat down low and in front of the net, because Lundell loves to lurk in front and set great screens for his teammates. Next one here, Quinton Ghuli, maybe one of the most mature players of this draft. The 6'3" defender, playing for the powerhouse Prince Albert Raiders team, may have had a quiet season, but it has not cut him from cracking my early top 10. Ghuli played behind a really old Raiders defensive core consisting of a lot of 20-year-olds, so ice time was limited, but his presence was not unnoticed. Ghuli is a shutdown D-man. He can easily lay the body occasionally, and the offensive capabilities are there. But being on a team he's on, he did not get to play as much, like top 2 or be a power play quarterback. Next season will be the deal breaker though, since he'll be relied on for a lot more of these like top 4, top 2 minutes, and he definitely will be manning the power play. So far, the sky's the limit for Ghuli, and I'll be keeping a close eye on this WHL gem. I would also just like to add, a lot of his coaches and his teammates say you would look at Ghuli as a 16-year-old and think he'd been in the league for 3 years. He's that mature on the ice. Chosen 5th overall in the OHL draft last year, Cole Perfetti has already found himself to be the best player on the Saginaw Spirit roster. A player you don't really want to see with the puck if you're the opponent. Perfetti is an extremely dynamic forward, capable of taking control of the game just like that. Perfetti is great at finding teammates up tight, giving them chances for easy goals. He carries a decent shot that can definitely be better, but when you have the IQ he has, you don't need the deadliest shot in the world to score goals. I find Perfetti is really good at avoiding his opponents and often finds himself in open ice for good chances. He's a very gifted player that should really dominate the OHL next season after a really impressive rookie campaign. This guy is someone who might not be a part of many people's top 10s, but Jaromir Pitlick may have some of the best assets in this draft. The 6'3", 200-pound forward moves like the wind on his skates, with an impressive top speed. Pitlick also may have some of the best hands in this draft. As you can see from some of these clips, he pulls off difficult moves at high speeds with such precision and quickness. Pitlick has been playing professional hockey in the Czech Republic over the past 2 years. I think when he was like 16, when he was 15, 16, he played like 7, then he played about half a year. But anyways, now he's taken his talents over to Canada with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, where he posted up 19 points in 26 games. Not bad for coming into where you're playing on a new smaller playing surface. Next year will definitely be the make or break season for Pitlick. If he can put up consistent production in the OHL, we can definitely see him being a higher pick going in the first round, guaranteed. I also want to just make a little announcement here. All the clips except for the training one of him is when he was 15 years old in the Czech Republic, and just look at how swift he is there. And imagine what he is like now when I get more better highlight packages of him when he's playing in the OHL next season. And just to add on to this, to give an example of the other players I wanted to put in here, Connor Zary, Tim Stutzel, Noel Gunler, Jake Neighbors, Dylan Holloway, Zion Nybeck, and so much more. This is like an infomercial for hockey prospects. There is so much talent in this 2020 draft, my head's gonna explode. I already can't wait. I can't wait for the next draft. Even though it's basically 365 days away, I already cannot wait to see what's gonna happen. That's how hyped I am. Anyways, I know I just listed off 15, 16, 17 players, and honestly, there's so much more. List down your favorite down below, because I want to learn as much of this 2020 draft. I want to be a complete expert. If you thought I was an expert on the 2019 draft this season, I want to be pretty much that times 2 or 3 for the next season. And, just like I just said, leave them down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.